day everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tim, despite what that Twitter says underneath there. I'm just going to take that away, Timmy. I don't want people thinking your name is Connor.
Oh, dear God, no.
But we're going to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead. We're back. Season 3 has begun. This is episode 1 of Season 3. It is called Family, and as always, full spoilers for the episode. So, this was over a year's wait, because for whatever reason, Season 3 got delayed. Well, I mean, maybe internally they never intended on having it at the same time, but from our perspective, you know, both Season 1 and 2 came out September, October time. You know, so in fact, Season 2 was actually earlier than Season 1, so that was, you know, even a shorter gap. And then this one didn't hit until obviously now, end of February. So Season 3, it's been a longer time. We've went a long ways without it. Tim, are you happy to have it back?
Oh yeah, of course. I think, you know, each season that we've done, I've proclaimed this as the best show on TV, and I'll continue that claim. It's what I think's funny, Tim, is that obviously me and Connor review so much TV, and you just come in and do Evil Dead because you like Evil Dead, so I get you in for this. And I love that people at home probably think he doesn't watch any TV, so of course he thinks this is the best TV show. He doesn't watch anything else. Just Evil Dead. I really liked the first two seasons. It did irk me a little bit that they didn't release this in October because, again, why would you release a horror show in October? Why? You know.
Well, I don't mind it. Like when it's a big enough jump that it's like, okay, well, if it wasn't going to be ready around that time of year, which is probably the case,
sure.
They probably just couldn't get it made in time for it. Then absolutely fine. What irks me is when they release a movie in September, when they could just hold it for a month. Like they could just hold on to it, just keep it safe, and then release it in the following month. That's when it irks me. But
but I mean, if I recall, I think that the season was like finished by this time because I think people, like, you know, I think Bruce Campbell was tweeting stuff like, you know, people were like, "Oh, when is the new season going to start?" And he was like, "I have no idea." Like, you know, he was finished filming and everything, and I don't know, maybe there was more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I'm not sure what the reason is. I wonder if that's a sign that maybe this will be the last season, since they weren't so eager to release this as quickly as they had in the past.
Yeah, that's a little troubling. I mean, we'll definitely see where the season goes. But I mean, yeah, I would love for this to go on and on forever and ever.
Oh, of course. But to be fair, I think at least Season 1, definitely Season 2, ended as if where it didn't really need to come back. Like, you know, the story was finished, and obviously we've started a new story here, but it wasn't like it ended on much of a cliffhanger where it was like, oh, we have to have more, we're going to feel like it's, you know, we had one tease of Ruby being there with a different haircut, and that was about it. Like, there wasn't a whole lot that would have been, oh, they've not answered all these things, what are we going to do next year?
True. Yeah, that was my big concern, especially because, like, there's some behind-the-scenes drama with the showrunner last year, and he ended up either leaving or being fired, and, you know, it kind of...
that might be the cause of it, though. That may be why it's later.
That makes sense, yeah.
Like, that could be the case. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, that seems like an obvious reason why, okay, they had to... the only dispute against that, as you said, you heard they'd already finished filming, like, however long ago. But maybe they finished film later than usual, though. Maybe they still had posts to do for X number of months and so on. But regardless, we're here, Season 3, and the new twist on the season is that we are meeting a new main character, which is Ash's daughter.
I would say two new main characters, or at least seemingly.
Yeah, but I didn't know about the other guy, so we'll see how long he lasts, because I'm half expecting him to be like her mother, you know, Ash's daughter's Ash's daughter's mother, Ash's ex-wife or current wife. It was unclear. It sounded like they were still married, which out of nowhere. Honestly, I'm just shocked she's not called Linda. That's one of my favourite lines of dialogue in this episode is when they go to the high school and Ash is like, "I met my first Linda here." Love it. Because obviously we spent a lot of time in Season 1 joking about how it was like the 5th actress to play Linda. Despite the fact that there's not even been 5 Evil Deads, you know, with Lindas in them, but there's still, you know, we'd already had that point. So Ash is opening a convenience store, or a hardware store.
A hardware store, yeah.
It's a bit of a mix, because he sells tools, but he also sells dildos. It's very Ash. It's very Ash Williams, and he's kind of embraced the ashy slashy name that he hated last season. But now it's his slogan because he's slashing prices.
Yeah.
We see his wonderful commercial. And do you know the funny thing is I was actually really bothered at the start of that commercial, because before you see it's a commercial and he's just standing there and he's got his chainsaw arm, and I was like, this looks really fake, like really bad green screen. Why does this look so bad, man? Did they slash the budget again this season? What's happening? And then it was meant to be shit and fake. And my favourite part of it at the end, well, not my favourite part, because I liked all the jokes in the middle where everything had to be an innuendo, where he's like, come down and get a handful of Ash's nuts. You know,
we got wood.
We got wood, yeah. All that innuendo was great. But my favourite part was at the end when the commercial was ending. You could just see the boom mic in the shot, and it was just sort of lingering there for a while. I thought that was really funny.
I loved how happy he was, and then at the end he says like something like, "Wow, can you believe it only took 22 tries?"
Oh yeah, it was 22 takes. You're right. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, did you do it all in one take? Like, no, split it up. We split these things up for a reason, Ash.
Yeah.
So Pablo's working with him. He's actually opening up a little food stall outside the store. People are very excited about the opening of the store. They're all queuing up outside. Because I thought the obvious joke would be that no one shows up, but no, everything's going fine. They all love Ash. He saved the town. It's fine.
I think it's a nice little, hey, we're gonna start everyone off as like, being happy and achieving levels of success that is just going to go down the drain.
I love that his store doesn't even seem that great.
Well, did you notice, like, I think, okay, so I could be wrong, but I think there are like hardware stores that are like something Williams and something blah blah blah, but if you look at the store name, I think they did like cross out like,
I noticed that they had like just like a board that said Ash, and it was covering up someone else's name. Yeah.
So I do think I like the idea that I think this was just some like other store that was closed down that he didn't even like bother getting a new sign or something. He just kind of crossed it out and put his on there. I
think he spent all of his money in the banner underneath it said, Ashy Slashy. He spent all his money on that, and then they'll just get a board with Ash on it. That's fine. There you go. That's done. Meanwhile, Kelly seems to be working at a bar, possibly in the same town. It's kind of unclear. Maybe slightly further away. But we see that she's just as fell-mouthed as ever. She's beating up bar dudes. But she sees on the TV, and we also see it's on the TV at Ash's place. There's like an Antiques Roadshow-esque television show. But for some reason it's been broadcast live. These are never broadcast live, but it's been broadcast live for the sake of the plot. And I'm not complaining. This is exactly the type of show that I will let do things like this, because it's it's wacky, it's goofy, it's fine. But it's cracking up. So some girls found the Book of the Dead. Just buried somewhere. The Necronomicon just lying around. And takes it to the guy, and he reads the passage that's going to raise the evil dead, right? And then after that, it gets to the warning page. Oh, this seems to be a book. If you read it aloud, it'll the spirits of the underworld will invade ours. Oops.
And then, of course, we start to get like the terrific POV shot of the evil kind of like speeding through the woods. And
do you know what part I really liked about that, actually? At one point, it was going over like a river, and you could see all the ripples in the water underneath it, as if it actually had like, as if it actually had like, I don't know, like a physical presence. It wasn't just a floating camera. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, cool! I have to go back and keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, it was just a nice little touch. I don't think maybe we have seen it before, but I don't recall seeing that before in one of the one of those moments where it's doing the whole flying through the forest thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is like it's a little silly, but I mean, it's definitely not as, silly as how he raises the dead in the first season. But, I think when this opening, I was laughing a lot, but I was also kind of worried, like, are we like venturing like too much into, like complete comedy territory? But my fears were quickly put aside by the second half. I think we get some really good, like, straight up Evil Dead 2 kind of.
I kind of agree with this line of thinking, because I wasn't so much worried, but I think if I had any criticism of the episode, is I do feel some of the setup is a bit rushed. I think that was my.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much that it was silly that was bothering me. It was just that some of it just felt really absurdly quick. Particularly when the mother just comes up to Ash and is like, "I'm your wife," and oh no, I got a phone call. Oh, my daughter's in trouble at the high school. Your evil dead things are coming to get her. Come with me now, help! Like. That felt super rushed to me. And while Ash can get away with some quick things like that, because it is, again inherently a bit goofier than other stuff we watch, it felt a little bit just really rushed to me. I mean, I'll say the daughter seems pretty likable so far. I mean, you look at a lot of her, but like she seems like she's, not a bad actress or anything like
that. I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with her. Because my first thought was like, oh, cool, we're gonna get like a young female Ash, but then I was kind of thinking, well, Kelly's kind of like the female Ash, but then what else are we gonna do with her? Like, we don't just want like a damsel in distress running around or something.
Yeah, and obviously Kelly's both at the bar and then her entrance into the final scenes kind of attest to her being kind of a new. If anything, she's a better Ash. She's like Ash, but slightly more competent.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, but she also doesn't seem to be she doesn't seem like she's, kind of stupid like Ash, and she doesn't seem like she's kind of a horn dog or anything. So, I'm wondering exactly what kind of role or personality we're gonna see from her. I mean, I'm interested in this relationship and to see what I think what her character does, but right now it kind of seems like just a blank slate.
We'll get a few episodes of her being distraught that her mother's dead. More on that in a minute. And
we said spoilers, right?
Oh, we did, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But I think at least what I'm getting from this first episode is just the opportunity for Ash to be hilarious, because at the end when he can't remember her name and he calls her. Because her name's Brandy, and he calls her Sandy and Tandy and I don't know other names that rhyme with Brandy, and he's like, it cuts to her, and this was in the trailer to be fair, but I'd forgotten about it, so it made me laugh again. Where she just starts crying like, "It's Brandy and F you," and that really made me laugh. That was a really funny moment. So even if she's not going to be this great new character where everything is interesting and whatever. Although I still think she could be. I think she'll grow into something over the season, I imagine.
I'm definitely excited. I'm just kind of interested so far. But I think to your point, this episode did feel like let's just quickly rush up a setup so we can just get this season going. Which in other shows it would probably be a little annoying, but I think. With this, you kind of give it a little bit of a pass. You're like, all right, cool, get the setup out of the way so we can start seeing the team back together, start seeing the deadite, the action, the gore.
Because the first half does feel like a sort of rush setup. There's some funny stuff in it, but it feels like a rush setup. But once Ash and Pablo get to the school, everything in the school's fantastic. All the fighting, Brandy's friend, who's a deadite now, she's. They're in a music room, so there's all this wacky stuff going on with her using the various instruments to fight Ash, and there's a lot of really funny stuff. Ash, shoots a trombone down. Obviously, Brandy's mother's death, because it's hidden for Brandy, and Pablo, dives for her and grabs her out of the way, and it goes into her mother's neck. It cuts off somewhere because you can see her put her hands up to try and stop it, and you just see the fingers drop, and then you just see the cymbal, a drum cymbal, is just embedded in her neck, and you just see the blood start to slowly pour off the cymbal. It's actually a really effective gore moment, as is the deadite's death, her friend.
That's awesome.
Because she's playing a harp. Suddenly this deadite's very good at playing all these instruments, by the way, because she plays a little bit of the piano at one point, and she plays a couple of other things. Basically, Ash pushes the harp on top of her, and then he steps on the edges of the harp to push it down, and you just see all the strings of the harp go into her face, and again, the blood slowly starts to seep through all the lines, and then her face just kind of goes and opens out. It is beautiful.
It's a nice practical effect too. I watched the behind the scenes at the end of the episode, and they were showing how they made that, and it looked so cool. Just seeing the actual prosthetic. I think there was a bit of CG added on, because I feel like I could see some CG. Oh yeah, I'm sure they probably used it to touch it up, but there was an actual face that split apart that they made.
Which, by the way, So sometimes they like to do that transition where there'll be like an explosion of blood as the title comes on, and that usually looks CG. But I did like the idea that Ruby shows up to this barn where this antiques show was on, and she goes up to the one guy who's still alive, who's holding the book, and she's like, "Oh, I'm the woman of darkness. I'm the daughter of evil. I'm the bringer of blood. It's my book." The guy tries to hold out to the book, and our transition into the title is her literally punching his head so hard that it explodes in blood. It doesn't look amazing, but the idea is strong enough that it made me giggle a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. So
yeah, I like that. Going back to the music scene again, I thought this was so freaking good. It felt super. Evil Dead 2 to me, like there was, it starts off very like, quiet and kind of like dreadful, and once he starts talking to the daughter, and he's kind of like, "You're not." I love that. His first reaction is like wondering if she's a Deadite or not, and when they spend so much time not showing her friend.
Yeah, the friend's going to be a Deadite, yeah. By the way, my favourite line just during that little bit when he's like talking to the daughter for the first time, other than of course the fact that he's like, I'll give you some advice, but unless you're a Deadite, and I'll cut your head off. So come on, bitch. Right? But other than that, my favourite line is like, what your mother's trying to say, I'm your pop, I'm your old man, I'm the old sperm shooter. And I'm like, that's one of the first things you say to your new daughter, I'm the old sperm shooter. I love that. It's so Ash.
Excellent. A line that really made me laugh is after this little sequence when they are attacked by the mascot. I love that Ash says like, "Oh no, Coogie, they got you too." But I just like the idea that's like, does he think like Coogie is a real it seems like he's almost acknowledging that it's a real thing and not like a person in a costume or whatever.
And I kind of like they set that up early on that there's the mascots walking around, because you see him normal, and then I like the scene where he kind of like the horror stuff starts in the school where he's just kind of staring at Brandy and her friend, and then the lights go out and then there's a big pool of blood. Like I thought that was kind of creepy, and then. I think once it got to that into the high school again, and there's some fun stuff. Ash has got a joint hidden under a trophy. It's still there from like 30 years ago. But when he gets to the music room, it was like any like fears. Like I was still enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. Like I was still having fun. There were some good jokes, but any fears that this season might not be as good or anything like that kind of quickly went away. It was like, oh no, we're back. This is what I expect from this show, and this is what I'm here for. So it was great.
So I think the other two big things, worth mentioning, of course, is Pablo has like the text reappearing on his skin. Mm-hmm. So sure, we'll get some interesting stuff with that, and then of course,
I think Ruby is now pregnant with Ash's demon child.
Oh right, yeah.
Because she gets the book, she like cuts herself, she pours blood on the page that has Ash, from Army of Darkness with the hand in the air, and she puts her blood on the page, smears it, and then starts to eat her own blood. It was really, actually, I'll be honest, the sound effect here was kind of disgusting me out. It was like this, it was very loud, like, she was.
A lot of, the sound, like especially because like I was listening to this like late at night with headphones on, so it's like really like right up in my ears, and then that and just kind of it was really like close up smearing it. It seemed really gross.
It was pretty gross. And then you see her lie down, and she lifts up her shirt a bit, and you see like just her stomach. There's something in there. I'm like, wait, is this the second Ash kid now? We got two kids on the way. What's happening? So I'm excited for Ash and his daughter to sort of thing, and obviously Kelly shows up with this new guy Dalton, who we kind of saw was he was kind of watching Ash earlier on, and we thought, maybe is he a villain? Is he up to no good? It turns out he is part of the Order of some
Sumeria, I think he said.
Sumeria, there you go. And they're dedicated to fighting the Deadites, and he is like a fanboy of Ash because of all the good work he's done. Obviously, there's a little bit here where like Pablo's like, maybe a bit jealous. Like, is this guy a boyfriend? Like, and Kelly's introduction though is great. They shoot like a spray paint can or something, maybe an aerosol can into the Deadite's mouth. Coogie specifically, the cougar. Which I love that when he becomes a Deadite, the teeth and the mouth becomes real. Yeah, it's like there's actual saliva in the bear mouth. That's pretty cool. Or not the bear mouth, bear. The cougar, the cat.
Cougar.
And then she shoots it, and the head just explodes blood. Yeah.
Now, one thing that I think is like super like odd or coincidental or whatever
Mm,
is I don't know if you've watched the trailer for Castle Rock, but
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
been a
the
while, but
Stephen
yeah.
yeah, the Stephen King show is coming popping up later this year, but there's a scene in that where they show like a high school mascot in some type of like looks like a cougar or a cat outfit, like on top of a
Mm.
school roof waving at someone. I was just oh, it just seems kind of funny that two prominent horror shows both featuring like cougar mascots.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably just a coincidence. I mean,
Yeah,
given when they shot this, it was probably long before they ever saw anything from
yeah.
Castle
I mean,
Rock.
sure it's a common mascot. You see that in like high schools and stuff all the time. But
Mm.
yeah, it's just kind of funny. I really like the idea of Dalton here. Obviously, we don't know much, but I like Army of Darkness is such a weird movie, but like I really love it, and I kind of like the slight references to it. So yeah, like when you see that page, I think that's cool. And then because I think he mentions like I forget if he says he's like the Knights of Sumeria or if he mentions being a knight or something, but it
Yeah,
kind
but
of made it.
it's the idea that the legend of him is passed down through the ages. So
Yeah,
that
so
this
I like
order
that there's
exists because of what Ash did back then in
yeah.
Army of Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think that's cool that there's like, oh, like, yeah, maybe some type of, yeah, like ancient order, since back then that's been fighting it. It's,
Do you know what I like about
cool.
it? I like that it subverted my expectations because when I first saw him like staring at Ash when he was at the store and then he kind of like
Mm.
follows him to this high school, I was kind of like, okay, he looks like the sort of I'm a tough bro and I'm
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like he's probably going to be antagonistic and that. So I actually kind of like this the neat little like subversion of expectations where. And it's more interesting that he's actually this really sort of almost geeky fanboy. He's like, "Oh, it's been honour to work with you, Ash."
yeah,
Uh, and then, of course, the final joke that Ash is, even though he's just been told what her name is, gets her name wrong, his daughter.
yeah.
But so, and also I like that because I think I was a lot disappointed when Kelly was separate from the team. But as
Yeah.
soon as she arrives and she's like, "Hey, I'm back, bitches," and they're just kind of like, "Hey, Kelly's back, great." It's like you never left, and it's like, "Okay, the Ghost Facer's back. Yeah, we're back," and they all put their fists in. I'm like, "Yeah, we're back, we're back."
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some rushed elements, but once it got to that second half and it was like, "Hey, no, this is the show you remember. We're going to do all this wacky stuff." Because I think season 2 I enjoyed a lot. Like I think I like season 2 more than season 1. The only negative really I thought was the finale was a bit weird and weak and just kind of
Yeah.
wrapped everything up really quickly. So it seems like that's
That's
the
fair.
show's biggest weakness is like at the start and the end, just like starting and ending the story. But then all the journey along the way is usually pretty amazing. So
Yeah, and
so here
I
we
think
go.
that really comes down to the issues they're having with the showrunner and stuff. So I feel kind of bad because I like everything that the showrunner did up until then, but yeah, maybe if they do have a more cohesive vision with someone that hopefully doesn't get mucked up by the end, then yeah, maybe like we will have like a more solid finale. But
I think this is the thing. I don't even mind that much if the end of the story ends up being a little weird again. It's just kind of like this is a show where I'm not necessarily here for plot as such.
oh yeah, definitely.
So it's not really that
Yeah,
big a deal. And I think as long as it doesn't like ruin any of my characters, where it takes them and like bastardize, oh, we're going to make such and such a villain this season, and they're going to like be hated by the other characters. Like as long as it
yeah.
doesn't do that, if it keeps them all feeling kind of like they're what they're supposed to feel like, uh, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, even the movies, like the plots are, and I mentioned before, like Evil Dead 2 is like my favorite, horror movie of all time, and the plot is super basic. But
Oh
yeah,
yes,
you're not really here for the compelling story. It's because you love the characters, you love the gore and the special effects,
I think
and
the word I would use to describe what you're here for is antics. You're here for the
yeah,
antics
yep,
of Ash Williams and his
yeah,
team.
yeah.
I've said
There's
this
like a lot of
before.
like,
I was gonna say I've said
uh,
this before, but I like that at this point Kelly and Pablo are just almost equally like I'm excited to see them and I'm excited to see what they're doing
yeah,
this season. So it's good.
yeah. Like I'm obviously like love Ash, love Bruce Campbell, but he's getting kind of old. Like who knows how long he'll want to keep doing this, and if after this season or maybe like another season or something, if he's like I'm gonna step down and they're like, well, hey, let's do an offshoot series with like Pablo and Kelly and maybe some of these new characters. I'd definitely be down for that.
Um, yeah, I guess the only other minor criticism I would have is like Ruby, like What's her deal this season? It's completely different again from the last two seasons. What's her motivation? I don't know. What's going on with her? Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like they just randomly have like a new version of her every season, just because they want to just keep bringing Lucy Lawless back. That's what it feels like. But which isn't a complaint so much as it's just kind of like, all right, that's just weird excuse. Okay, she's back. It's fine. Let's do this.
Yeah, I like Lucy Lawless, but yeah, I definitely would like to see, maybe a more definitive, take on her, I guess. Because I kind of liked last season when, she was like the begrudging, bad guy turned kind of good character. But yeah, I guess kind of back now, but to her being, whatever, bad guy, which is fine, but we'll see how she goes during the season.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the season 3 premiere of Ash vs Evil Dead, and we actually talked probably longer than the episode lasted now at this point. So that is the season 3 Oprah. Obviously, we'll be back next week with episode 2 and so on. But we had a lot of fun. So let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv, and you can do that over there. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching, guys. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?